Hi boys and girls, welcome to a great day of learning. We're your teachers today. I'm Miss Amanda and I have a very special guest back with me today, my sister, Miss Allison.
We're so glad to be here with you today for tons of fun, reading, and knowledge.
Now, in previous lessons, we had an overview of the systems of the human body.
That's right. We learned about the muscular system, the nervous system, and even the vascular system. Today, we will look more in depth into one of the systems of the body of the skeletal system.
Oh, that is right. In today's lessons, we'll continue to learn about the body, but we have some new learning goals, all right? So today we'll focus on standards RI.3.3, 3.7, 3.9, and W.3.8.
Now, I am really excited to be sharing this information with you today because the skeletal system is my specialty.
Right.
I am a radiologic technologist, so I spend a good bit of my time at my job taking pictures of bones. I work in a medical clinic in Laurel, Mississippi, where I help take care of patients for many reasons. However, one of my specific jobs is I x-ray people with various bone injuries.
Right.
So when someone comes in and the patient may have been injured or may have a specific issue with that part of the body, I take pictures of it.
Aha. Now, Miss Allison does work with all the body systems, truthfully, right? But I think now would be a great time to learn some critical vocabulary specific to the skeletal system.
Yes.
Okay?
Great plan. We have the words here for us for our vocabulary anchor chart. And wouldn't you know it, today our anchor chart is a skeleton. Perfect.
Okay. So I was thinking that the skeleton was up just kind of showing some things as far as the bones, but now I understand.
Yes, we have a purpose.
All right.
We have a purpose. So it looks like our first word is cranium.
Okay.
Cranium. Scholars, what's the word? Yes, that's it. Cranium. The cranium is the top of the skull, the hard bones that protect the brain and give its head the shape. For example, my son Davis is always sure to wear a helmet on his cranium while riding his bicycle to protect his brain in case there is an accident.
Right.
Let's point to our heads when we say cranium. What's the word that means skull? Cranium. That's right.
All right, now our next word is marrow. What's the word? Yes, marrow. Marrow is the soft tissue that's found inside the bones, and that is the main source of blood cells. That's including the white blood cells. So here's an example using the word marrow. When people have low amounts of bone marrow, they get sick more easily because there are not enough white blood cells being formed to fight illness. So let's point to the center of our arm to remind us that the marrow is inside the bones. What's the word? Yes, marrow.
Now we have spinal column. Point to your back and say that. Spinal column. The spinal column is simply the backbone. It's the series of vertebrae that extend from the back to the tailbone. We could say the spinal column provides necessary protection for the spinal cord. What's our word that means backbone? Yes, spinal column.
All right, now our next word is structure. What's the word? There you go, structure. Structure is a form or shape of something, and it's something that is made up of a number of parts arranged together. For example, the building structure was put up quickly but carefully, so it wouldn't collapse. For us today, though, we'll find out that our bones provide structure for our bodies. So what's the word? Structure. Now, lastly, we have vital. Say vital. Yes, vital. Vital is necessary for life. Extremely important. I could say both sunlight and water are vital for the growth of most plants. What's the word? Vital.
Great work! Let's read over all of our words as Miss Amanda gives us a brief definition of each one.
Perfect.
All right. Cranium.
So that's the top part of the skull.
Marrow.
That's the soft tissue that's found inside the bones, right? And it's the main source of blood cells, including white blood cells.
Spinal column.
All right, that's our backbone. It's the series of vertebrae that extend from the neck all the way down to the tailbone.
Structure.
That's a form or a shape. It's something that's made up of a number of parts arranged all together.
And vital.
Necessary for life. Extremely important. Perfect. Now, let's get ready for our read aloud.
Yes.
All right? Now, I want you to listen for these vocabulary words as we go through our read aloud.
Today in our read aloud, you will hear this word right here, this word, and I want you to say the word with me. Axial. Axial. Good job.
All right, you may have learned about the Earth's axis, right, in earlier lessons or even from earlier grades. So what is an axis? There you go. An axis is an imaginary straight line that goes through the center of an object, dividing it equally into two parts. So, like the Earth's axis, the axial bones in our bodies are bones that are located up and down the middle of the body. Feel for these axial bones on your torso, right? And your heads. You'll learn about axial bones in today's lesson. So let's make a quick prediction before we read, all right? How many bones do you think are in the human body? So listen to find out if your prediction is correct. Hi everybody, Ricardo here. I've got a new riddle for you. We are a column of bones stacked on top of one another. Collectively, we make up your backbone. We begin with the letter V. What are we? Vertebrae. Today we're going to talk about the systems that gives your body its structure, allowing it to stand on its own. If you've ever seen a building being built, you know that it has a framework that gives the building its shape and keeps it from toppling over. Your body has a similar structure. Do you know what keeps your body from collapsing? That's right, it's your skeleton.
Your skeleton is made of bones. Bones can support a lot of weight, but they did not start out that way. Before you were born, your skeleton began as cartilage, a firm, rubbery tissue like the tough gristle on a piece of meat. Touch the top of your ear. Do you feel that? It's cartilage. The top of your ear will always be cartilage, but much of the cartilage in your original skeleton hardened and turned to bone. By the time you were born, you had about 300 bones in your body. An adult has about 206 bones. So, where did all those bones go? Did they just disappear? No, they grow and change over time. Many of them join together, like those at the end of your spine called the tailbone, or the bones in your skull.
Have you ever heard the saying, hard as a rock? Rocks are hard due to the minerals stored inside them. The outside part of your bones become very hard by storing minerals too. Minerals enter your body in the food you eat and the vitamins you may take. Calcium, contained in dark leafy greens, broccoli, and dairy products such as milk, is one of the important minerals that makes your bones as hard and as strong as a rock on the outside. Calcium is also needed to help blood clot or thicken when you accidentally cut yourself. Without it, your blood would be too thin for you to maintain good health. At least until you reach your full height, your bones will continue to grow with you. It's hard to imagine rock-hard bones growing, isn't it? They cannot stretch or bend. So how do bones grow? Well, bones are made up of living tissue. New bone tissue is being made all the time, working to replace worn out cells and making it possible to heal broken bones.
Before you were born, your bones were solid, but many of them have become hollow over time, making them very light, yet still very strong. This is how bones differ from rocks. Rocks are solid all the way through, but bones are porous, meaning that they have many tiny holes through which liquids pass. Marrow, a jelly-like tissue, fills these cavities of your porous bones. Bone marrow is your body's blood cell factory. It produces blood cells to fight infection and carry oxygen throughout your body. Remember, the circulatory system carries the blood your heart pumps throughout your body. So the skeletal system and the circulatory system are interconnected. Bones come in many shapes and sizes. Some are long and rod-like with knobby ends. Some are short and look like cubes, whereas others are flat. And some have their own unique shapes. Even though there are many different kinds and sizes of bones, all human skeletons look pretty much the same. Your skeletal bones are designed in a specific way to support and protect every part of your vertebrae or your body.
There are 3 groups of bones that form your axial skeleton: the spine, the skull, and the ribs. The bones that support the center of your body are called axial bones. It is also the job of the axial bones to protect the most important organs in your body. You've already learned that taxonomists classify animals into 2 groups, vertebrates and invertebrates. Who remembers the group in which humans are classified? Right, we're vertebrates. Vertebrates are animals with backbones. Your backbone, or spine, is actually more than one bone. It's a column of many bones stacked on top of one another. Bend forward and feel along the middle of your back. Do you remember those little bumps running down your back? As you may have learned in an earlier domain, these are your vertebrae, a series of bones fitted one on top of another to form the spinal column, or backbone. Cartilage separates each vertebra, filling the spaces and cushioning them from one another. Each vertebra has a hole in it, allowing the spinal cord, an important pathway for nerves, to pass through it. Your spinal column protects your spinal cord, in addition to providing the main support for your skeleton. Your spine is only one part of your axial skeleton.
Sit up as straight and as tall as you can. Now, look at your neighbor. Does the side profile of your neighbor's spine look straight? Probably not. Your spine is curved, looking more like the letter S than the letter I. Can you think of any reason why it might be better to have a slight curve in your back rather than a completely straight back? If your back were as straight as a board, you wouldn't be able to bend. The shape of your spine allows you much greater flexibility. You've already heard about the tailbone at the lower end of your spine, so what's at the other end? Use your hand to follow your vertebrae up your back and along your neck to your head. Feel how hard your head is? Who knows the name of the protective group of bones hidden inside your head? Right, your skull. Skull bones sit on top of the backbone, becoming the second part of your axial skeleton, the group of bones that support the center of your body. Your skull is comprised of a group of bones, 29 in all. Locked together, they protect your brain and some of your body's sensory organs. The top part of your skull, shaped like a bowl and surrounding the brain, is called the cranium. 8 thin, curved bones are tightly interlocked to form the smooth cranial helmet beneath your forehead and scalp. When you were born, these 8 bones still had gaps between them, allowing your brain to grow. Because these gaps don't close completely for about 2 years, babies have a soft spot on their head and need very careful handling.
The rest of your skull bones are facial bones, or bones in your face. Put your hands over your eyes and touch your closed eyelids very gently, pushing up slightly toward your eyebrows. The round openings in your skull are called eye sockets. These sockets are deep enough to protect your delicate eyes. Another hole in your skull is just the right size. That's your nose. Though it is sometimes closed or covered up with teeth, what's the biggest opening in your face? Right, it's your mouth. Cover your face with your hands now and open your mouth wide. Which bones moved? Your jaw bones. Your upper jaw is attached to the rest of your skull, but your lower jaw is hinged so that it can move up and down, side to side also. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Does anyone remember the 3 groups of bones that form the axial skeleton down the center of your body? The spine is one, the skull is another. The 3rd group of axial bones is also connected to your spine. Reach behind you again and feel those bones that stretch across your back, wrapping around to the front of your body. What are these bones called? Right again, your ribs.
Ribs are curved bones that form a protective cage called the rib cage around your heart and lungs. Ribs come in pairs. Each rib is attached to a vertebrae in the middle of your back and the sternum, or the breastbone, in the middle of your chest. Feel your chest. Can you count the number of ribs in your rib cage? How many did you count? You have 24 ribs, or 12 pairs in all. I just can't resist sharing a joke with you right now because it fits so well with the learning. What did the rib say to the heart?
What did the rib say to the heart? I don't know.
Got you covered.
That's a great one.
Your skull and ribs both protect vital organs that you cannot live without. However, your ribs are designed very differently from your skull. Whereas your skull is made of solid interconnected bones without spaces between, there are spaces between each of your ribs. Can anyone guess why it wouldn't work for the rib cage to be one solid bone? Let's find out. Take a deep breath. As you breathe as deep as you can, let all the air out. What happens to your chest? Do it again and notice how your chest goes in and out with each breath that you take. Solid bone around your chest would prevent the diaphragm and lungs from expanding properly with the air you breathe. The shape of the spine combined with the spaces in between each pair of ribs helps the human body structure to be flexible. I'll be back next time to talk more about the skeleton. Today you've learned about the axial bones, and when we are together next, you'll hear a term that relates to another part of your skeletal system and to your arms and legs. I'm looking forward to meeting you again. I'll be sure to have new riddles.
Wow, our bodies are absolutely amazing.
For sure. I always enjoy learning about the wonderful workings of the human body. Now, friends, at home, let's see how much you've learned. We're going to ask a few questions about today's read aloud. Be sure to answer in complete sentences.
Right. Yes.
Let's start with your prediction. Were your predictions about how many bones in the body correct? Why or why not? How many bones do you have in your body? Oh, I heard it. Yep. That's right. About 206 bones.
Right. Now, you heard in the read aloud that when you were born, you had about 300 bones in your body. What happened to those bones? I heard you. Bones grow and change over time, all right? Many of them join together like the skull bones and the tailbone. So how do the bones heal and grow, though? There you go. They're made of marrow, right? The living cells and the tissues that replace those worn out cells.
Yes. Explain why the skeletal system is so important. Of course, that's it. The bones give the human body its structure, allowing it to stand up on its own and to protect all those vital organs.
Oh, yes, for sure. That is fantastic. Now, when you were born, were all your bones as strong as they are right now? No, they weren't. What were some of your bones made of? That's it. Some of those were made out of firm, rubbery tissue called cartilage. Now, name at least one place mentioned in the read aloud. Think back. where we still have cartilage in our body? There you go. I knew you could get it. The tip of your nose, right? The top of your ear. Those are all places where you still have cartilage.
All right, last question. Which bones are called your axial bones? This is a good question. That's right. The axial bones are in the spine, the skull, and your rib cage.
Awesome. You did fantastic on those questions, all right? Your comprehension skills are top-notch today. Now, I want you to notice that we have a little bit of a graphic organizer behind us, all right? So we're going to use this graphic organizer to compare and contrast what we heard in the read aloud, dealing with the Earth's axis and the axial bones, all right? We're going to put the ones that are different. If it's just about the Earth's axis, we're going to put those here. And if it's just about the axial bones, we're going to put those here, all right? But if it's both, we're going to put them down here. Now, we're going to give you some evidence that shows how the Earth's axis and the axial bones are the same and how they're different, or how they're alike, I would say, and how they're different, all right? We have the pieces of evidence here. Ms. Allison, give us our first one.
Okay, let's read the first of them together and determine how to sort them. So this one says runs through the center of something. What about that? Is that true for just the Earth's axis, or just the axial bones, or both?
There you go. It's both.
Both.
All right. So we'll put it right here. That's our comparison evidence. Let's read another one.
Okay.
This one says real, and they support your body. What do you think? Earth's axis, axial bones, or both? Ah, great thinking. Axial bones are real. The Earth's axis is not. So we'll put it here.
Okay, what about this statement? An imaginary line. You knew it. That's correct. That's only the Earth's axis. We just discussed axial bones, and they are real. Great work.
Read this one with me. Earth spins around it. Well, we for sure know the Earth doesn't spin around around our axial bones. That's just for the Earth's axis. We'll put it here.
And let's look at this next one. The human body does not spin around its axial bones. We can definitely add that one to the axial bone column.
And finally, divides equally into two parts. What do you think, scholars? Perfect. Both the axial bones and the Earth's axis divide something equally into two parts. All right. That really helps us organize our thoughts, Miss Allison.
Yes.
We learned a great deal today, right? We learned about axial bones, we learned the specific axial bones, and we also learned what they help to protect.
Yes.
All right? So before we leave today, I want to share something else with you. Take a look at what we have on our table here. We have some of the groupings of the axial bones. Here's our spinal column. Think about what that protected. There you go, the spinal cord. What about the rib cage? That's it, the heart and the lungs. And finally, the skull. That's it, the brain. Wow, we've had so much fun today. Thanks for doing your best, scholars. We want you to be sure to join us again next time, all right? All rights and credits for today's lesson belong to Core Knowledge Language Arts. We would like to thank them for publicly sharing these valuable resources. The views and opinions expressed in the lesson are those of Core Knowledge authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Mississippi Department of Education. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll see you next time.